Is that our next president? Joe Biden is putting her forward as his pick because the rumors that we've been hearing that Biden is going to drop out as early as this weekend turned out to be true. He just broke the news and dropped out of the presidential race and is saying that he believes Kamala Harris should be the one that the Democrats go with. Let's take a look at what Biden has said. By the way, he is going to address the nation later on. But here is something that he put out on social media. My fellow Democrats, this is from his Twitter account. I have decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president. And it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our duty this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. Okay. All right. And by the way, he did also post this. So something a little bit more formal. Let's read it together. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historical investments in rebuilding our nation. Let me see if I can make that a little bit larger for y'all. Hold on. There we go. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation and lowering prescription drug costs for seniors and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We've provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances. Okay. Passed the first gun safety law in 30 years. Appointed the first African American woman to the Supreme Court and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once in a century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intention to seek reelection, I believe it is the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I'll speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now on, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. I believe today, what I always have, that there is nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember we are the United States of America, Joe Biden. Huh. Okay. So I think that we all saw this coming. It was pretty clear after his debate with Trump that, okay, yeah, he's probably going to have to drop out because I don't see anybody having any confidence in him, either from the Republican Party or the Democrats. So it was pretty clear that the Democrats were kind of pushing to get him to drop out behind the scenes. We already knew that. And then we heard in the last few days rumors from people in the know saying, yeah, it's a done deal. He's agreed to drop out as early as this weekend. But it was still just rumors, so it's you know how that goes. Sometimes they turn out to be right, sometimes they turn out to be fake news. Or could have been true and he could change his mind. So we just kind of had to wait and see, and here it is. He's confirming it now. Yeah, after that performance that he had with the debate, it was pretty clear he needed to drop out. I think it was clear to everyone. Plus, I do think that the attempt on Trump's life just made him that much stronger, and gave him that much more of a boost. So it was obvious that Biden is going to lose if he just continues. Now, Kamala is not very popular either. Now, I do think that she has her cognitive faculties intact a little bit more than Biden. So I guess in some areas there's an advantage there, but I don't know if this is much more of a threat to Trump than Biden really was. So but I don't know if the Democrats are really going to go with her. They might go with someone else like Hillary. Her name has been thrown out as well, and so we'll see who they end up choosing. If they go with Kamala, I don't think that she could win. But I do think that this was kind of necessary for the Democrats because it was just going to be a slam dunk for Trump. So at this point, they do have an opportunity to put somebody better in there and give Trump a run for his money. Although it may be a done deal already, he might have enough popularity at this point that it doesn't matter who they put up there. He's going to win. We'll see. We'll see how things unfold. I do want to get to a couple reactions. One reaction is, of course, from Trump, who starts out, "Crooked Joe Biden." Of course, he starts out like that, right? Now, I thought, okay, after getting shot, maybe he's going to be, he's going to have a little more humility, but I don't know. Maybe it lasted a day or two and it kind of wore off. So, Crooked Joe Biden was not fit to run for president and is certainly not fit to serve, and never was. He only attained the position of president by lies, fake news, and not leaving his basement. Okay. All those around him, including his doctor and the media, knew that he wasn't capable of being president. And he wasn't. And now, look what he's done to our country, with millions of people coming across our border, totally unchecked and unvetted, many from prisons, mental institutions, and record numbers of terrorists. We will suffer greatly because of his presidency, but we will remedy the damage he has done very quickly. Make America great again. Okay, so that came from his Truth Social account. I'm sure we will be hearing more from Trump soon. I saw this one from Josh Hawley, U.S. Senator for Missouri. He said, and this seems to be something that I'm noticing a lot of people saying in reaction to Biden dropping out. He says, then resign your office. If you can't run a mere political campaign, you can't be president. Now, there's some truth to that. Let's be honest. Yeah, if you can't do that, you can't run a campaign. Yeah, maybe you don't need to be president for the rest of your term. Something to be said for that. Now, technically, he didn't say, I can't run a campaign. He just said that I'm going to drop out to focus the rest of my time on my presidency, which obviously is a very roundabout way of saying, hey, I'm clearly not going to be able to get reelected. And so, yeah, I need to bow out. So that's the reaction that I've been noticing from a lot of people. I saw this from Matt Walsh. With Biden dropping out of the race, it's time to pass the torch to a new generation of young, fresh, energetic leaders. And then he posts this. That's just messed up. That's just wrong. I'm sorry, but she looks like Senator Palpatine. she looks like Senator Palpatine after all of the force went out of him, and he shocked Samuel Jackson and whoever that character was, and then his face deforms and everything. That's kind of am I right or am I right? Let me see if I can find it. I really, come on. This is it. This is it. Let me show it to you. You can't tell me there's not some resemblance here. There's some resemblance. Come on now. Okay, I don't want to be too mean, but yeah, I don't I don't know about Hillary. I don't think that one's I don't think that's going to work either. So we'll see if they put Hillary up. I mean, who could they really put up against Trump at this point? I honestly think that he has enough popularity, especially after the assassination attempt, that it really just doesn't matter who they put up, especially this late in the game. Maybe if they had put somebody else up way before, there would be a shot. But someone this late in the game, I don't see them gaining. No matter who it is, I don't see them gaining enough traction. So, but we'll see. A lot can happen between now and November, I guess. This was a weird one from Tara Reid, author, actress, former Senate aide. She says, "You were never qualified," in reference to Biden. "You are corrupt, and you raped me in 1993 when I worked for you." Of course, he denies the allegations, but she's still, saying, hey, he sexually assaulted her in 1993. So you run away, but you cannot hide. Woo. Okay. So a lot of reactions going on, but at the end of the day, I don't think any of us really saw this as a surprise. I think we all knew that this was going to be happening. But I want to hear from y'all. Put your comments there in the comment section. Put it to at Reason and Theology. I want to get your impression. Who do you think that they could put up at this point to maybe give Trump a run for his money? Didn't Biden endorse Harris? Yes, he did. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's who they're going to go with. Now, here's the question. All the money and all the donations that have gone to the Biden-Harris ticket, I think that can still go to Harris if she's chosen. I think so. But if it goes to somebody else, I don't know how that works. So that might be one of the reasons why he's putting Kamala up. But again, I don't know if that's set in stone. I think that they could nominate somebody else. So just because he is putting her up there doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to get it. Okay. The General Grievous says, a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. I don't think it was a surprise. I think we all saw this coming. It was after the debate. It wasn't even after the debate. I remember sitting down with my wife watching the debate with Trump and Biden, and in the first minute of Biden's speak, I said, "This is over. It's over. This is done." And I'm not talking about just the debate. I'm saying, like him being reelected, it's over. It was that bad. Now we've all seen the debate, so I don't have to show clips at this point. It was really horrible, and I realized at that point, yeah, there's no way they're going to have to go with somebody else. And I'm a little surprised it took them this long, but I do think the impetus behind this was the attempt on Trump just made him that much more popular. So they just realized, yeah, it's time to go. It's time to go, Joe. D Bear says Hillary gets her fashion advice from North Korea. I don't know. I'm trying to see. I didn't see any North Korea in that picture. Maybe I'm missing it. Let's see what else we got. President Palpatine would be better than Hillary in some ways. Yeah. Yeah. What else we got? Kamala is the only person who can use Biden's war chest, which is massive. It's so big that she has to be the nominee. The only real question now is who will run with her. That's what I was thinking as well, is that she would be entitled, I think, to those funds for the campaign, if I'm not mistaken. Certainly not far-fetched to see that. So what else we got here? Whoever replaces FJB will not have full support for the Democrats. Yeah. Donald Trump is why Catholics are the majority of the Supreme Court. His decisions for SCOTUS are why we are doing as well as we are in the courts. Yeah, perhaps. Michelle Obama to beat Trump, maybe. I thought that when they pitched it to her, she wasn't interested. But I guess my question would be, what kind of background does she have that would really allow her to do this? Just being married to a president doesn't necessarily make you qualified to be a president. A person who's married to a medical doctor, that doesn't necessarily mean that they could be a medical doctor themselves or are qualified by virtue of the fact that they're married to one. So, what would really qualify her for that? Would be my question. Um, don't underestimate Kamala. She is willing to sleep with anyone to get what she wants. I don't know if any of that is true. I mean, I hear stuff like that all the time, but I don't know if there's any truth to that. And so I would be careful in spreading rumors like that unless we have something substantiated. Otherwise, it could just be gossip and slander at that point. So I would be careful. Um, I don't believe Harris will win if she is the nominee. Trump will win, and I say that as something who won't vote for either the Democrats or Trump. It will just be a Trump versus Clinton 2.0. Maybe so. Maybe so. Kamala Clinton. Oh boy. Oh boy. I didn't think of that. That is a possibility. That just ruined my day right there. um, there's a reason why Kamala lost in the 2020 primaries. Yeah, and I don't know how effective she's really been as vice president. It doesn't appear she's been very effective in securing the border, for instance, and so she doesn't have a whole lot of popularity. And I don't see her being a viable candidate, to be honest with you. Okay, what else we got? Two women would be an automatic loss. Matthew Schmidt says, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. RFK is not a logical answer. He is pro-abortion. Sadly, JD, the vice president pick for Trump, is in favor of certain pro-abort pills. Unfortunately, while saying that he's a Catholic, completely inconsistent with his Catholic profession. I have some serious fears that that's going to be another Biden all over again. JD. Um, Reason of Theology is my new favorite political commentary channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I dive into a little bit of everything. I'm still going to continue to dive into church politics, of course, secular politics, because they're all related, right? I mean, secular politics is not completely divorced from theology. They're all related. And so I'll continue to talk about both, as well as catechetical material, which I've been offering for years. I'll still continue to offer that. But yeah, diving more into politics with the channel, because I think that, as Pope Francis said, Catholics cannot be silent on matters of politics. We need to publicly get into the arena and profess our faith and interact with people. And so I'm listening to Pope Francis on this one and doing just that. You can't separate theology from politics. Bernie Sanders? I don't see that. I'm going to bet Harris Newsom. I could see them trying to put that duo up. The former mayor and DA of San Francisco, when it began its final descent into total depravity. A full Bay Area ticket won't be able to win really any swing states. Yeah. By the way, how does that work with some of the states? Is it too late for them to make adjustments? I don't know if that's the case, but in some states it seems like they're not able to make adjustments at this point. So I kind of wonder how that will work. I suppose we'll find out soon. Okay. Okay. The Obamas don't need a fourth term. Well, again, she doesn't seem interested, so I don't think that's going to happen. Harrison Pelosi. Wow. That would be interesting. She's on up there in age. I don't know how that would work over the next 4 years. Looking through the chat, what else we got? Gregory says, I don't see how he could avoid this, to be honest. Kamala isn't the answer for the Democrats, however. I agree on both of those. I agree. And especially this late in the game. To now have to, you know, at the last second scramble for another candidate and, you know, try to prop them up this late in the game. That's just not, doesn't seem like they're set for success. It seems like they're set up for failure right out the gate. We need a sane voice, Mike. Keep it up. Thank you. Trump will win anyway, Matthew says. I think that that's probably true. Obviously, we don't know the future. The guy who claims to know the future about Trump, I showed recently, doesn't know the future. What was his name? Brandon Biggs? Yeah, that's certainly not the case. By the way, everybody hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Got plenty of content coming up here for you. Let's see what else we got in the chat. RNT helped me wake up to the lies about the Holy Father. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. It's interesting. There's not a direct parallel, but I do know that some of the fake news that is out there about Trump, there's some similarities there with fake news about Pope Francis. It's interesting the way it works. There is somewhat of a parallel there. So I hope that people become more and more aware that they've really been sold a bill of goods when it comes to portraying Pope Francis as this flaming liberal who is in favor of gay marriage and all sorts of stuff. He's a Marxist communist, and none of that is true if you actually look into the issues and listen to what Pope Francis says. But most people don't do that. And to a degree, if you actually look into some things that Trump says, you can see some caricatures. Not all, not in all cases, but in some cases. AJ says, I agree, Michael is my go-to news at this point. I try. Let's see. I first heard about the Trump shooting from Michael's channel because I'm on it. I have enough maneuverability to, as soon as news breaks, to immediately go live. The downside to that is you don't want to be too quick, however, to point something out because you have to make sure that it's accurate. So sometimes I have to do a little bit of extra work to make sure that the information is correct before I go live. But usually I can do that quicker than most others, and that's why I'm usually Johnny on the spot with this stuff. Jimmy Carter could still run since he only did one term. I didn't think of that. Okay. And he'd still do better than Biden. Yikes. Yikes. Y'all went there. Teresa says president and vice president can't come from the same state. Harris and FDR might as well let him finish his term, Sergeant Grinch says. Matthew says Al Gore. Oh boy. They could come from the same states. That's an old party rule. Okay. Mikhail says, I don't think also Pope Francis is a Trump supporter, to be honest. I think in some areas Francis would agree with Trump, in some areas he wouldn't. It just kind of depends on what we're talking about. Um, and there is something to be said there. There are some things that Trump says that are just against the Catholic faith. So it's important that a person is aware of that and um, is discerning in these areas. Not everything that Trump says is consistent with Catholic theology, and people need to be aware of that. Same can certainly be said of Biden, right? Goodness. Biden, however, is worse because Biden actually claims to be a Catholic, whereas Trump doesn't. So Biden is actually held to a higher standard because he claims that he's Catholic and yet holds to things that are completely anti Catholic, such as his position on abortion. There's no way she'll pick Newsom in reference to Kamala. She needs to pick someone for a swing state, probably Governor Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania. Maybe, maybe. Um, by the way, I do recall hearing that the United States Secret Service director is going to be questioned about the Trump assassination and events surrounding it. And that's supposed to take place tomorrow. So if it does occur, yeah, I'll be aware of that because I'll be covering it here because there's a lot of issues surrounding that situation that are not adding up, and there hasn't been a lot of transparency from the director and others on the situation. There's a lot of fog about the shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks. Hard to find information about him, which just doesn't really add up. And so I suspect some answers are coming. So be aware of that. I'll most likely cover that tomorrow if we get more information. Richmond says Trump is definitely inconsistent with Catholic theology on abortion and other areas such as foreign policy. Weird that Vigano embraces him so much. Yeah, there's some areas that again his positions are just completely incompatible with Catholicism. I think at the end of the day, what Catholics have to do is you're generally going to have to vote for the lesser of the two evils because I just don't see anytime soon somebody really running for president who actually holds to what the magisterium teaches, so the Catholic faith. I just don't see that for a very long time. The position of the Catholic Church, especially in areas of morality and society, isn't always popular in the United States. And so it might be a while before you would get a presidential candidate who actually authentically represents Catholicism. Now, obviously, we've had Catholic presidents before. The one who currently is president claims to be Catholic. But the point is, are they actually consistent with Catholicism? Um, Usually, no, they're not. So Catholics are kind of left in this weird position where one has to vote for the lesser of two evils, and really no candidate is likely going to be ideal for a Catholic for quite some time. Maybe that will change in the future. Let's see. Lantia says, "Hey man, love your channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you." Converted Catholic says it's probably going to be Gavin, and if it is, and they rig it, just know this country is doomed. Trump has my vote. I think Catholics need to remember they're not voting for the Pope. True. I think again, you just gotta go with the lesser of the two evils. Let's see what else we got. Cenk and Destiny as the president and vice president. Well, in reality, a lot of people vote based on popularity, don't they? I was talking about this the other day. I could totally see our society coming to the point where we vote for whoever is the most popular content creator as the next president. I can see that. I can totally see that because some people are already that shallow. I could totally see 20, 30 years from now people voting based on that. I mean, already you have people voting based on, well, this person is a female, or this person is a male, or this person is black, this person is white. And they'll vote based on superficial things like that rather than the person's policies and is this person actually fit for the office. Yeah, a lot of people don't have that kind of perspective. They vote based on shallow things. So I could see one day that actually happening. So whereas you say that jokingly, Chank and Destiny, that that could happen one day. That's funny. Lofton for president. Make nuance great again. That's funny. Taylor Swift and LeBron James. It's coming to that. It's eventually just going to be a popularity contest. If it's not already, it might already be that. I can see a civil war happening if the Democrats win. To be honest, I don't think so. I don't believe so. I don't think it's come to that yet. No, and that certainly wouldn't be helpful to society. So let's pray otherwise. But no, I don't think that that would happen. Lofton Knowles 2028. Wouldn't it be the other way around? Knowles and Lofton. That's hilarious. Yeah, either way, it could be bad. Let us pray for our country. Well, yeah, absolutely. I just the Civil War thing, though. I don't think we're there yet. Now, maybe that would have happened if Trump was assassinated, but even then, I don't think that that was likely. Y'all could flip a coin. There you go. Francis and Fernandez. Well, I wrote to Fernandez recently, waiting on a response. I asked him to, let me interview him on a number of issues. So we'll see what Cardinal Fernandez says. Fernandez is the head of the dicastery for the doctrine of the faith. So I think that if I get an interview with him, it will be one of the most productive interviews you will hear in quite a long time because I'm going to be asking him some questions that really need to be addressed. So we'll see. We'll see what he says. Lofton Knowles would be amazing. That's funny. What nickname would Trump give Lofton? I don't know. He comes up with some nicknames, doesn't he? Crooked Joe Biden. Crooked Hillary. I don't know. I don't know what he would give me. Depends on if I were on his good side or his bad side, right? And I don't know which one I would be on, to be honest. So his nickname would be honorable opponent, probably. I don't know. I don't know what he would say. Good impression. I don't know. I've seen some guys out there with way better Trump impressions, so I feel down and in the gutter about mine because I've seen some really good ones lately, and I'm just thinking, man, I can't do that. I can't do that. They got me. Y'all saw that guy with the patch on his ear doing the Trump impression. Somebody was talking about that patch. It looks like a small pillow. They said this is what happens if you order a pillow from Timu. D Bear says Catholicism is against communism. That is correct. That is correct. You know who else is against communism? But Francis. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, indeed. All parties are pro-abortion. Now what? Well, you're seeing the Republican Party in 2024 now saying it's opposed to late-term abortion, which of course is a lot weaker than what the Republican platform was saying in 2016, which was much more comprehensive in condemning abortion all around. So we are seeing the Republican platform becoming weaker on this issue, but I can't say it's fully pro abortion, but it's certainly not opposed to it at the level that it used to be. Low Energy Jeb. Yeah, that's one of the nicknames that he has. Yeah. Um, does Trump have a nickname for Kamala? I heard him call her a name the other day, but it's not one I would repeat, and I don't think it was a nickname. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Uh, he could do better. He could do better. Trump could be. He could step it up in some areas. He could do better. JD Vance needs correction. I agree in the area of abortion. I think that yeah, if you're going to say that you're Catholic publicly like that, you can't promote stuff like the abortion bill and say I'm in favor of it. No, no, you can't do that. Not as a Catholic. Not if you want to be a Catholic in good standing. Fair enough, but they're Catholic and we can at least work with that. But couldn't we say that about Biden? I think that might make it worse in some areas. I honestly think that makes it worse. I would rather somebody not. I would rather somebody say I'm not Catholic and do some good things, but then have some bad things with them, than to say they're Catholic and do some good things and have bad things with them. Because when you say you're Catholic, you're really tainting the name of Catholicism, and you're also held to a higher standard. So it would be even better if a person wasn't professing to be Catholic in some of these discussions. Now, everybody needs to be Catholic, don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is there's a higher standard, there's a higher level of accountability for a person who claims to be Catholic. So I don't know if it's that clear cut. Abortion is the number one topic on the ballot for Catholics on this year's election, as it usually should be, right? As it usually is and should be. In fact, the Catholic bishops of the United States came out again recently and said, yeah, that's the number one issue. That's not to say that other issues we just ignore them. No, but first things first. So this is going to be one of those deal breakers. Okay. Trump says he's anti-abortion, but he does believe in special case scenarios like rape or incest or whatever. I obviously think he needs to reconsider that, but that's a start. Yeah, it's not as bad as it could be. I agree with you. It's not as bad as it could be. But that's still not the standard. That's not where we need to be. We need to step it up. So there's some areas that Trump needs to change on. And I don't know if he's going to. I really don't think he will in some areas. All right. Well, everybody, thank y'all so much for watching. I wanted to sneak this in there. Stay tuned for more, especially tomorrow, if we get more information on the United States Secret Service director on what happened with the Trump shooter. I'll cover that, as well as other issues of a catechetical nature related to Catholic theology. So stay tuned for that. Everybody hit the like button, hit that subscribe button if you want to support this channel, patreon.com/ reason and theology. God bless.